Welcome to the Dose of Good podcast, where we celebrate good people and organizations working to make the world a better place. It can be easy to get caught up in the bad things going on in the world and forget about the good happening all around us each and every day. I'm your host, Erin, and I want to share these stories with you and give them the attention they deserve. I hope this podcast educates and inspires you and maybe even motivates you to share a dose of good in your community. Now let's get into today's episode. Today's episode features the Granite YMCA. Today I speak to Michele Sheppard, who is the Chief Executive Officer at the Granite YMCA, and she tells us all about their offerings, and you might be surprised to learn about some of them, but I think it is incredible the things that they are doing for the community. So I hope that you enjoy today's episode, and let's hear more from Michele. Today I'm here with Michele Sheppard, Chief Executive Officer of the Granite YMCA. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Erin. I'm glad to be here.
So can we start by talking about what the mission of the Granite YMCA is?
Happily. So the YMCA has been around a long time. It does stand for Young Men's Christian Association, but we are much more than that. That is our original name from 174 years ago. But the mission of the Granite YMCA and most Ys across the country is to welcome folks from all walks of life. And we really stand in support of healthy living, youth development, social responsibility, and family strengthening. And we do that through the practice of our core values of honesty, caring, respect, and responsibility. And that's our mission statement, just founded basically in making sure that we're sharing a positive environment for all who walk through our doors.
Okay. Well, I already learned something because I did not know that's what the initial stood for.
You didn't?
So
Yes.
no. So you have a lot of programs that you offer across your 6 locations in the state. Can we start with talking about your aquatics?
Yeah, we'll start with the alphabet because we go pretty much A to Z.
There you go.
So aquatics is fundamentally one of those programmatic opportunities that the YMCA invented. They invented the first indoor pool, and swimming lessons, the structure of swimming lessons actually were formed in YMCAs as early as in New York, and then also at our outdoor camps that happened in the late 1800s. So the movement has been fundamental in a lot of healthy living areas. For the Granite YMCA, we have a total of 9 pools and 2 lakefront properties. So water is a very big part of our recreational as well as our teaching environments, but it's also one of our greatest risks and assets. And so what you can do in our aquatics programs for across our 6 branches and then our 2 overnight camps and 6 day camps is anything from just general recreational swimming, lap swimming. You can also enjoy water safety classes that we do often for free in each community to help people understand how to be safe around the water, not necessarily to be full safe in the water, but to teach children particularly to always ask for permission to go into water, to always wear their life jackets appropriately, to make sure that there's adults with them and never go swimming alone as an individual, no matter what your age is. In addition to the water safety programming and recreational swimming, we offer a cadre of swimming lessons that start at 6 months and go on until you stop swimming. And so we teach a lot of first-time swimmers how to get comfortable in the water. And then we also help a lot of adults that might have fear of the water that didn't necessarily learn to swim as youth or had a pretty scary experience to become reacclimated. Water is one of the best environments to stay fit in because of the buoyancy. And so we find that folks will start in the water literally, and then they'll end in the water as far as their exercise experience goes. We also offer a wide variety of educational opportunities for folks that are looking to do work in the aquatics environment. We offer lifeguarding classes, instructor classes. We also teach people to be water exercise teachers. And then in our other programming we have competitive swimming for children as well as teens and adults, a master's swim program in several of our locations. We also offer a lot of water exercise classes, and that can range from anything from a mama and me or daddy and me class all the way through to arthritis classes, fibromyalgia classes, and even even sensory recovery classes for folks with PTSD or those that are recovering from some type of surgeries or needing to learn to exercise and know their bodies before they do that on dry land based upon severe arthritis and other autoimmune disorders. And we've even had some folks come in and from the military who come and train to join the Navy or the Coast Guard and use our pools. And we do that as a free service in most locations. So there's a lot of ways to enjoy the water. One of my preferred fun ways besides lap swimming is to also go to flick and floats, where we use our outdoor or indoor pools and we put movies on the screen and we give people noodles and rafts and dim the lights. The lifeguards need to be able to see and let people just splash around and enjoy a family fun movie.
That sounds like so much fun.
It is a lot of fun.
And it sounds like you're covering all aspects of the water, safety to just the fun part of it.
We try.
And the exercise as well.
Yes.
So, yeah.
We also work in another program that I'll give the shout out here in the state is called Swim Angelfish. And so that is a program, and it's an adaptive program for folks that all ages, but typically for children who may have sensory disorders or they may have be blind or have some other abilities that are not necessarily equal to their peers. And so we teach the staff are taught in a different way how to teach adaptive swimming lessons. And it's become a wonderful way for the entire family to enjoy an environment together and to know that everyone has their own skill set and they need to develop that to be safe around the water, and helps parents really feel much more comfortable when we can teach water acclimation as well as skill sets to folks with various limitations.
That's great.
So,
Yeah. And you also have, so you talked a little bit about the exercise in the water, but you have other programs for health and wellness.
We do. We call that dry land.
Okay.
But there's a variety. And so if you've been to one YMCA, you've been to one specific YMCA, and there's not one built in our association, the Granite YMCA, that looks the same or offers the same programming or physical amenities. We have 4 what we call membership branches, but all 6 of our locations offer some type of activity that can be enjoyed at those locations. When it comes to health and wellness starts as young as just our little ones going into the water, but also going into our preschool and movement classes, into our tumbling classes and other things. And healthy living can also occur through your full age span, where you might be taking classes to help you through dealing with chronic disease management, or also dealing with arthritis, knee or hip replacement, shoulder replacement, or just limited mobility. And you might be exercising in a chair, you might be exercising in a wheelchair or with a walker. And we have equipment and teachers that are able to take that whole span of capacity and engage folks with healthy living opportunities. At our branches, we have programs for strength training. We know that strength training is one of the fastest growing endeavors that women are told to be able to do to strengthen themselves, prevent osteoporosis, fall prevention for anyone. We also have a lot of different unique group exercise classes that are available for teens and tweens, as well as all the way to adults, and then adults again needing a little bit additional assistance with mobility. Those classes range from Zumba and jazz dancing to strength training in a group environment with circuit training, step classes. We have mind-body classes for yoga, meditation. We offer martial arts classes. We offer a whole plethora of programs out there called HIIT, high intensity training, or TRX, or boot camp. Pilates, you name it, you can find it at a YMCA with a different variety of classes. Not one of our branches has the same catalog of classes, but they often have a lot of similar classes that will meet full ability, capacity, and interest for improving your physical health. We also have a pretty unique exercise equipment at our downtown location called eGym. And eGym is a gamified strength training program that tests you first for your biological age and then tests you for your strength age to find out how strong you are. And then it sets a weight based upon your goals for what you're trying to achieve on 11 different pieces of equipment for the major muscle groups of the body. And then it runs you through a circuit. And you do this in a group setting with other individuals. It sets a cadence for your strength repetition, and then it tracks you. And so it knows you through a RFID bracelet that you wear that has your identity, and you just scan in, it sets the weight for you, sets the machine height, and then you exercise away. And then you move along the pieces of equipment for multiple circuits. And over a period of time, we can actually share with your physician, if you'd like us to, your strength gains and improvements and health improvements with this system. It's really cool. It's the only one in New Hampshire right now.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting.
Encourage anyone who's interested to go check it out. Usually about the age of 12 or 13, you can start actually using that equipment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a little off script, but you've just got me thinking about it because each Y in the state kind of offers something different. Do you have like a all-encompassing membership where
We do.
people can go to like any Y or?
So there's a couple of different ways to understand the Y movement. The Granite YMCA is one association of 8 in the state of New Hampshire. So we have the 6 locations that are located. We have one here in Londonderry. We have one in Manchester. We have one in Goffstown. We have one in Concord. We have one in Portsmouth. And we have another one in our Somersworth location. And then there are other YMCAs that are located in Nashua, Merrimack. They're a separate association.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a YMCA in their camp in Exeter, Southern District. They're a separate association. And then there's a YMCA facility and camp also in the Keene area. And then there are a variety of other overnight camps. When you join one of those separate associations, you join that group.
Okay.
But nationally, the YMCA movement gives you reciprocity along any other YMCA in the state or in the country. And so all you need to be is a member in good standing, show up at that Y with your membership card or an ID, and they can look you up in a database, and they can give you access to that YMCA based upon the local availability.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Good for people to know, too.
Yes.
If they're out traveling in another state and want to get their exercise in.
Exactly.
That's
Take the Y
awesome.
with you just about
Yeah.
anywhere you go. And even internationally, sometimes you can have the same reciprocity, too. It's pretty cool. I've visited quite a few YMCAs in my travels, and it's always wonderful to go see what's happening in another city, state, or country.
You do have other activities for people to take part in. Just a few I noticed on the website were gymnastics, pickleball, climbing, but there's many others that you offer. Can you tell us about some of those opportunities?
I'd love to. So we are, as I said, we have a lot of different YMCA locations and offerings. I'll start with our Allard Center. That is our location in Goffstown, which was formerly a tennis club back in the day. So it still features 4 tennis courts. We have USTA tennis there. We are recognized by USTA as a family-friendly space that is also very approachable for teaching all abilities to play tennis, from quick start for the littles that have smaller rackets and larger balls, and all the way up to competitive level tennis for individuals in high school who are competing on high school or college teams, and then also like to continue the lifetime sport of tennis as an adult. We've also taught wheelchair tennis at that location, and really welcome an ability to do that. And recently there's come a new program out for older adults that need to have a bigger ball and a smaller racket to be able to maintain their tennis game, and they play on a smaller court as well. So tennis is morphing just like pickleball did to accommodate more people. So we have those abilities and opportunities at the Allard Center. The Allard Center also has a customized indoor climbing facility that you did mention, and that starts at age 5. We do some fun activities there. We do indoor night climbing with glow lamps and headlamps. Everyone is has a certified belayer and uses certified harnesses. We are inspected regularly for those facilities with any of our climbing indoor or outdoor facilities. And then we also host a lot of birthday parties and activities in the climbing gym. It's a great deal of fun. I used it to train to be able to do the rappelling off of the Brady Tower for a fundraiser a couple of years ago.
Wow.
Helped me not to get so frightened on those 100 floors
Yes,
up or whatever it
yes.
was, 20 stories up. So that's a great opportunity. Our gymnastics facility is not just about teaching gymnastics. It's also a competitive gymnastics facility. So we have a competitive team there. We host a lot of meets, and our athletes just came from regionals and are getting ready. We have 6 going to nationals this year that compete.
Exciting.
It's very exciting. We have a lot of folks and kiddos that start literally at 6 months and go all the way through into high school. In that gymnastics facility, we have a tumble track. We have a jump pit. We also have an indoor ninja course, and we also have silks for doing the yoga silks class as well, in addition to. So you can use that facility space to learn, or you can also rent it for a birthday party if you're interested in that in the future as well.
Nice.
And the pickleball is shared with basketball. We also have volleyball. At the Allard Center, we also offer badminton. And in some of the locations, we offer floor hockey and roller skating, and a variety of other activities. Have you ever played the game Gaga? Have you seen a Gaga pit before?
I have not, no.
So Gaga is a form of basically arena dodgeball. It's been made to be a more friendlier version of dodgeball. Instead of aiming at certain body parts, you always aim below the knees.
Okay.
And you paddle the ball with your hands. It's a great way for students to enjoy some fun, good competitive fun without too many injuries. And we have portable gob pits across the association, both indoors and outdoors, for kids to play with, as well as adults. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, nice.
They're also known to be a good spot for an indoor snowball rink.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Yes. So there's some of the examples of activities we have that are available available if you're not into the traditional going to the gym and lifting weights and riding a bike or walking on the treadmill.
Sure, yeah.
Great ways to stay in shape.
Yeah. I noticed that you have a focus on teens, which is nice. What are some of the activities that teens can get involved with at the Y?
So teens are one of our they're one of our more favorite guests to have in the building because really when you think about, we love youth in general. Youth development is a big focus of the Granite YMCA's work and most YMCA's in the country. But with our teens, sometimes they have a hard time finding their spots, right?
Yeah.
Because they're still trying to explore what they like to do and they want to do the adult activities, air quotes there. They also want to do the things that they like to do. Like we have gaming spaces in teen centers. We have creative maker spaces in centers. We also offer pretty robust snacking programs in a couple of our locations so that kiddos don't need to worry about if they're going to have dinner or not because food security is an issue.
Yeah.
But then we also offer a lot of leadership programs, and we have a really cool civics program called Youth and Government. And Youth and Government is a program that's been around for 78 years in New Hampshire that teaches basically how government functions, and it's a mock legislature. That program has about 220 students that just actually concluded their session this year at the State House, and they held a court in the chambers, and we have a Supreme Court, we have the House, the Senate, we have lobbyists, we have the press, and then we have pages, and they write their own bills. I think they had a bill book this year of close to 230 different unique bills, some of which have actually been moved on to become legislature in the state because some of our youth and government graduates have actually become state representatives or senators.
Wow.
So it's a really cool program for teens. That's a unique one for the Y. And then we also have a lot of other opportunities for teens to get engaged in volunteering, to do programs, and they volunteer in our swimming pools as swimming class assistants. They volunteer sometimes at helping at our front desk during busy activity periods. They volunteer in our special events. We have spooky holiday events that they love to put on. That seems to be a big teen favorite. And then we also do a mentoring program called Leaders Club that, along with leadership development, works with trusted adult mentors who are screened as well as trained to be there to just talk with teens, be a positive figure in their lives, and to really share some experiences they had about how they were figuring out that next path in life. And so those leaders clubs are available at all of our locations. They are free to the community for teens that are interested in getting engaged, and they really do serve a good purpose of supporting teen mental health. And just kind of having a place and space to know that you can find a trusted adult to just maybe lean on a little bit if you need it. If you're not quite ready to talk to your parents about that career choice you're trying to make or something like that. So then there's just everything else we offer as far as our group exercise, our water programs, and all of our fun court sports and exercise. The teens are always welcome to participate in those as well.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you've got a great variety of things for them, from, teaching them about leadership to having that support system, but also I didn't know about the legislature and all that, and I think that's really important because there's even so many adults that don't understand about how the government works and all of that. So the fact that you're getting youth involved and then they're going on to become representatives is just amazing.
It is amazing. There are quite a few in the current government as well as in the state business offices that are alumni. And so some of our alumni have come back to volunteer. We have some folks that are part of our Y movement have been volunteering for over 30 years. And it really makes a difference in kind of this program has such longevity and impact. There's former chief justices of the Supreme Court that have been alumni. There are former heads of various agencies. And we have some of our local legislators that have been elected to even federal offices that have been alumni. So it is a movement. And they're not alone just here in New Hampshire. This is a national program for the YMCAs. And we actually have a group of our staff that will be taking students to an event called Kona in the summer where they actually study more national and international policy versus just local state legislation.
Okay.
And so they have some competitions. They go for 2 weeks of programming and they debate and they think about, world challenges that really need to be addressed. So these are future leaders. Even if they never go to an elected office, they are leaning in and they are setting the example about knowing what government means, knowing how government needs to be there for the people, and how they can be a future voice in government.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And it's nonpartisan. That's the best part. You can have an opinion and you can debate it in very good civility.
That's Awesome.
Yes, with those core values. They're critical.
Yes, yes. An area that you're tackling that people might not think about the why for, because I hadn't thought about it, is food insecurity. Could you tell us about your food pantry?
So we have more than one.
Okay.
And so I would say that we've always been in the nutritional education business since we started doing health and wellness and having opportunities to, and we have programs where we actually feed children and campers and things. So good nutrition is important, and we belong and participate in a lot of key standards, and we do participate in the USDA feeding program. But during the pandemic, we found ourselves in a new role. We weren't just a recreational facility or a daycare facility, although we did open up within 2 weeks of the pandemic, shutting everything down to be an emergency childcare center for critical first line workers. But we also recognized that so many folks were not necessarily getting the nutrition they needed, particularly children and older adults. And so we really leaned heavily into opening food pantries up at just about every single location we had. And then from there, it moved into recognizing that we've got some facilities with some great kitchens, and we know that nutrition and the affordability of good nutrition for families is becoming more challenging, especially when we saw the inflation levels go up. So we have food pantries at 3 of our different locations that are available with services every week. We have them in Manchester, and they're available. You can contact the Manchester branch and find out. Usually it's Tuesday, Thursdays, which they do a lot of fresh produce, dry goods, meats and vegetables, and other services, as well as personal care items. And then we have a once a week pickup for older adults that are interested in and participate in some of our programs from the Londonderry location over on Route 28. And then we also have a full food pantry for our families in Somersworth at our newest branch, the Somersworth Early Learning Center. And so that is in a partnership with Gather, as well as the local Target in Somersworth provides us with food pantry donations. But every branch does something for food security. Rather, they're collecting for a local partnership like we do in Goffstown and in a couple of other locations that we have. We also know that we grow food for Gather out on the seacoast that supports fresh fruits and vegetables for residents in the greater Seacoast area. And those gardens are on our property, but the volunteers come from Gather to grow those fresh produce. We also have a fresh garden here that was started at the Londonderry location that our campers do with volunteers in the community.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it's a pretty cool thing. And then on top of that, we feed probably about 1,000 children a day some form of food and healthy food. They're either getting a snack in the before care program, they're getting a snack in the aftercare program with whole grains, healthy fruits, dairies, if they're not allergic, and vegetables. And then we feed our early learning center children 2 meals and a snack a day in our designated child care centers. So it's a lot of kitchen prep time. We have a lot of partnerships, and we would not be able to do the food security work without hundreds of volunteers and thousands of hours every year. Yeah. So I want to shout out to anyone who's made a donation one way or the other, or spent any time in one of our food pantries or in one of our gardens, making sure that we're growing healthy, nutritious food for folks in the community.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very needed.
Yes, and thank you for doing that,
Well, it's our
because it is
pleasure.
definitely needed.
It's also a great form of exercise and mental health.
That's true,
So
yeah.
when you can blend it all together and you see the intergenerational gardening going on,
Yeah.
I love watching the littles go out and pick their first tomatoes or
yeah.
pull their first radishes. They're not too fond of the taste, but they do enjoy
Of course,
planting and pulling. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So you touched on, you just mentioned briefly about child care. So you do offer child care. What ages do you serve, and can you kind of break down the different programs for us?
I can. So childcare is the largest portion of our business model as a nonprofit. We are a 501c3, and our youth development services every Monday through Friday during the school year, we have children as young as 6 weeks and all the way through 14 years of age in some type of program. Either it's a program that's full day care for our early learning centers, where we are doing some of the things I just described with the meals, as well as teaching and education readiness skills for going to school, as well as care for a lot of working families. And those programs are offered in 5 different locations across the association. And then we also do out-of-school time. And our out-of-school time programs exist in all 6 of our branch locations. And those are before and after care programs, and they are at about 24 different sites with, I think right now we're at 11 or 12 different school districts.
Okay.
So we have a lot of connections in our general vicinity. We're in 5 counties of the state, and in those 5 counties, we work with a lot of different school partners to make sure that working families and even the educators themselves have childcare for those times that children need to be in care and positive spaces while their parents are working. We know that childcare and housing are 2 of the most critical issues right now facing our economy, as well as the quality of life for our families and affordability. The Granite YMCA is one of the larger childcare providers in the state. We have partners amongst our other Y peers, as well as with the Boys and Girls Club and other private centers that are really working hard to make sure childcare is available. Our childcare is all state licensed, and our staff go through many, many hours of training every year. We have full days off that we shut down and make sure that our staff are trained and all background checks. And that is the largest part of our workforce, is actually working with children in youth development programs for either childcare, early learning centers, or with our camps.
Okay.
So, yeah. Quite a few opportunities. There's any given day, there's anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000 kiddos in care.
Oh my goodness!
It's a little nerve-wracking at
Yeah,
times.
yeah,
Because you're always worried about, things happen.
But as you said, important, because there not only is the cost of childcare an issue, but having enough childcare is an issue.
That is the bigger issue.
Yeah.
And the cost of childcare, I know folks really are concerned about it, but the other problem is that there's not a lot of available support for it in the way our current structure is.
Right.
And so we at the Granite YMCA provide financial assistance, and I know we're going to talk about that a little bit, about how people can find out about it. But in addition to having state licensing, I would strongly encourage anyone who's seeking childcare and is not sure how and what to do about assistance. The state has done a great job of changing their protocols for the eligibility level for families, and that it is much more liberal than it used to be.
Okay.
And so there is state assistance, and all you need to do is inquire at the state. And if you don't have luck there, you don't understand the system, you can reach out to one of the Granite Y offices, and we will help you find that out for yourself and give you an idea of what you would be eligible for with the state, and then also how we could help you with maybe matching those dollars you don't have enough for to make sure you have quality childcare. There's nothing worse than worrying about either putting food on the table or being able to keep your child in childcare or paying for a doctor's bill or now our fuel bills and trying to piece that all together and worrying about every penny you're spending.
Yeah.
And so WISE have been doing financial assistance for decades, and we do that we're proud to do that in collaboration with other programs like the state has for the State Scholarship Assistance Program.
Yeah. Since we're talking about now, if you want to talk, so people would just reach out to you if they are looking to apply for that?
I would say the best thing to do is, if you're curious about what programs we have and where they're located, is to get on our website, and we're going to have the link for you to share. But you can also Google the Granite YMCA, and it'll pop up, and then just start to search on any child care location or based upon the community you live in, and to see if there's one there. You can also go to the Northern New England YMCAs of New Hampshire and find out more about some of the other Ys too. Okay. Once you get on the Granite YMCA site, you can find out the local branch, and you can actually call if you're not sure how to navigate or you're uncomfortable with having determining these things online. You can call and speak to a live administrator with the Granite YMCA that will assist you in kind of understanding the process to enroll and to seek out an application for financial assistance. Okay. And last year we gave $1.7 million worth of assistance out across the board, not only for childcare but camps and also for membership. So folks know that the Y is available to them. Life happens, and so we need to be able to take care of ourselves, have a good, positive place to go. And when you can give financial assistance, and thanks to donors we can, it makes a difference, and it makes life a little bit easier for folks.
Yeah, and that's good for people to know too, that you offer it in those different areas, so they can maybe benefit from that if they have a need to, kind of thing. So
yes, absolutely.
Again, you mentioned briefly summer camp, and that's, I'm sure, coming up quickly.
Oh yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about your summer camp?
So it's a busy time of year. We offer, I think if we were to count the unique different camps we have, we probably would have over 100 different offerings for folks to sign up for across the Granite YMCA. But I'll bucket it into 3 different ways for you. We have traditional day camp models that are offered across all of our local branches, and then there's also some designated camps. Like we have a site at the Hooksett Memorial School that is separate from our Manchester branch. We also have some other sites in other communities where maybe there's not a standing day camp or there's not a YMCA location, but we can partner with space to do that. Those day camps are traditional models where you start in the morning anywhere between 8 and 9. We kick off with our songs, and then we have a lot of different fun outdoor and indoor activities. That includes arts and crafts, STEM, STEAM, friendship bracelet making, and there's always usually some kind of swimming or a field trip involved. We bring a lot of field trips to camp, so there's learning opportunities, and we really focus on team building and the core values, and we give awards out for team building and the core values to each every week in camp for folks, not only for the kiddos but for the staff, to recognize how well people are learning to live in community. And so that's our traditional day camp model that's available. Each one of them has a really wonky name. We go from Coney Pine to Pagonki to Camp Half Moon to Camp Gundalow, and there's a couple of others in between that I can't even pronounce. So I won't try because the camps will get very upset with me. Then our next type of camp we have are specialty camps, and those are sometimes in partnership with another standing day camp at a local branch, or they might be a standalone. We have gymnastics camp and ninja camps. We have tennis camps. We offer an outdoor adventure camp that includes paddling, hiking. Sometimes there's overnight camping excursions with it, and mountain biking and some other fun trips. We offer a teen trip camp that is for kiddos that are entering usually 7th grade through high school, that they take trips around the greater area, sometimes as far away as to Boston, to do some exploring. It's sometimes based on educational opportunities. Sometimes it's based on the arts or sports. And families, teens sometimes like to get away from camp a little for the younger kids. They've gone through that. They need to be out there in the world experiencing things. And there's some of they're wonderful camps. We also have some great partnerships where we get to offer opportunities with local school districts, a program called Power Scholars. And the Power Scholars program is free for students that are looking for some summer learning, as well as comes with a meal program, and it comes with, for some of the students in Power Scholars, it comes from early experiences about college readiness. And so we're doing college tours, we're doing some pretty unique career exploration. In the Power Scholars program that we offer in Manchester, the older students that are in 8th grade through 10th grade actually do a summer project. And it's usually around math or literature. And they talk about, they study something for the period of time, which is a 6-week period of time. And then they make a presentation and they get to show off what they learned. And it really, a lot of times will lead them into a career path, which has been really great to see. Yeah. So that's a taste of some of the camps we offer. And then the other camp we offer is an overnight camp. We have 2 overnight camps for the association. We have a boys camp, which is Camp Mytina in Alton on Half Moon Lake, and we have Camp Foss on Wiley Pond in Stratford. And those 2 camps are about 113 and 103 years old between each one. So they've got some time on this in this state, and they are just treasured properties with anything from farming available at Camp Foss and ropes courses available at both. Both have lakefronts where we do a lot of paddling. We have water toys, and bounce houses and things of that sort. Obviously, we teach water safety and swimming there. We also have some teaching boating skills and water skiing at the boys' camp. The girls' camp is on a lake or a pond, so they're not allowed to have a motorized boat there. Yeah. But they make do with some other fun things that they do at the camp. The camps also include leadership opportunities. We have leaders in training and counselors in training for campers that go through the camp or come there and want to be able to become a camp counselor. And then we have some excursion trips that are off, and they do a little bit more adventure-based, like overnight camping or backpacking in the mountains and things of that sort of times. A lot of international staff work at the camps for us, and we also have a lot of international campers that come to camp. So when you go to a camp, an overnight camp particularly, you really are learning how to kind of be on your own in that environment without parents. It's a good readiness for college or the military or just going out on your own. And you get to meet a lot of people, and you learn really quickly how to live in small groups with the cabins. Mm-hmm. We've been working really hard these past couple of years to make our camps more accessible for folks that might have some mobility limitations so that they can also enjoy camp. Yeah. And it's really gone a long way for building a lot more positive relationships and exposures and experiences for folks.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Nice.
And all those camps also have financial assistance available for them, too.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, and I'm just sitting here amazed because I think this is great that this is getting shared with people, because I didn't realize all the variety of things that the Y offers. I think I had an idea of, well, you can go there and exercise, and they do some stuff with kids, but you're really running the gamut of things you're offering. So
The Y has been, and this is not just Granite Y, and this is the Y movement itself, has been an innovator since the beginning in 1844 when we started in England. And we really started traditionally as a space for young men to come together during the Industrial Revolution. And then it came to this country. We're celebrating 174 years as an organization, the Granite YMCA. Two of our Ys are some of the oldest Ys in the country. The movement started in Boston 175 years ago, but it started in Portsmouth here in New Hampshire first, and then the second Y in New Hampshire was actually in Concord, and they're part of our association. So we've kind of been at the beginning of it all.
Wow.
And every generation or decade, the Y has had to kind of pivot based upon what's going on in society. And so we talked a little bit about what that's looked like for us now and how we continue. And we're still doing that.
Yeah.
There are things that the Y does that not anybody would expect. And you've heard about some of those here today. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned how important your volunteers are. So do you want to talk a little bit about some of the volunteer opportunities available?
Absolutely. So we are a volunteer-led organization. My boss, I have 20 bosses on the board of directors with a chief volunteer officer who is a lovely human. And so with volunteering, it's how we started as an organization. It was developed by volunteers, and it continues to be the backbone of our work for all of us across the country. At the Granite YMCA, we have a couple of different layers of volunteerism. We call policy volunteers are the folks that volunteer at the local council level, and they're advocates in the community for the local Y, or give advice on programming we should offer based upon community need, or they help with fundraising because we do give out financial assistance. We do need help with folks to assist us in that. And they also sometimes will help us plan new Ys or new programs. And then we have another level of volunteer that sits on committees, and those committees can be anything from helping to make sure we keep our assets or our buildings in good repair. And there might be architects there might be people who work in HVAC, there might be folks that are engaged in development who are looking out for new places and locations where the Y might be important or a good value to have in a community. We also have a lot of folks that are engaged in our volunteer philanthropy work, and that they assist us there with going out and with grants and things of that sort. We have folks that sit on our finance committee that assist us just making sure that we're being good fiscal stewards of the funds that we raise and the money that we earn and give back to the community. And then we have what we call program volunteers. And the program volunteers are the ones that get to roll up their sleeves and get into the classroom and read books to the toddlers, or to go out with the teens and go on hikes with the teens and teach them how to start and do a campfire. Or they might be some folks that are coming in to work in the kitchen and assist with snack preparation in the after schools to feed about 100 hungry teens when they come into a teen center. And they might also be folks that are coming in during Days of Caring, which is happening right now with the United Way in our region, to do cleanups on camps or help with our properties, getting them ready, setting up canopies or painting picnic tables and things of that sort. So there are no limit to the ways you can volunteer. We've had folks that come in and they just wrap Christmas presents for us during our holiday giving trees. Or they'll come in and they might just help us write thank you notes to all of our donors for 1 year, or write thank you notes to some of our legislators for the work they do to support the Y and the communities. But if you're looking for a place that's positive and that you enjoy being around other people that like to give back, the YMCA has a spot on our website for that. And our volunteer and coordinator for the association's named Paige, and she'll get in touch with you.
Yeah, it sounds like an array of opportunities for people of all different skill sets and interests. They can find a place for them at the Y that will, be rewarding for them.
Absolutely.
So.
We hope that's the case. So far, so good.
Yeah, just to learn a little bit more about you, how did you get involved with Granite YMCA? And could you tell us maybe something you love about your job?
Well, there's a lot I love about my job. So I got involved with the Granite YMCA after I came here in 2009 to become the executive director at the Allard Center in Goffstown. Prior to that, I had worked in the YMCA movement. I started my career out of college, graduating to be a health and wellness professional. And I had never really gone to a YMCA except for as a Girl Scout twice in my life. We didn't have a Y where I lived for badges for my sash.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I got one for swimming, and I forget what the other one was for. But I answered a blind P.O. box. And for those of you who don't know what a P.O. box is, it's what you used to do when you were looking for a job and people didn't want to know you to know where they were applying to. You were applying to.
Right.
And so my resume went to a YMCA in Pennsylvania, and I started working there. And I started just going in to do group exercise classes to help support a camp and to run sports leagues, volleyball and other leagues. And then I found out that there was this whole group of volunteers that every week would bring this group of children that were living in migrant tenements that were part of the orchards in Pennsylvania where I lived at this Y, and they didn't have recreational, and they were bringing them in their cars to the Y, and they were called Sam's Kids, and they were given a free membership to the Y starting at age 6, and they could come year round, and for 4 weeks of summer, they gave them free camp. So they had a place to go every day to learn something, to do field trips, to swim, and to make sure they had nutritious food. And I'd not really thought about my career in that type of giving back. I had always thought I was going to be a professional strength training coach or a personal trainer. And then I saw this, and I saw how it all interfaced together in a community, and I fell in love. And so 30 years later, here I am at the YMCA.
Yeah.
And I just love it. It's the people. It's the members that come with their own unique stories and their own unique journeys about getting healthier, needing daycare, or just wanting a place to connect. It's the volunteers that are giving back because someone did something for them, or they just are really feeling that that's their way of supporting community. And then it's the people that come to work at the Y, or the partners we have that find a similar need to outreach. You, Erin, are doing outreach for the community by your podcast and helping people to find out there's other places to go and to support one another. And if anybody's listening and they want to get to know more about the Y as a partner, just reach out. So it's one of the things I value most is the relationships we build and the ways we get to touch and improve people's lives if they're seeking that or just to be in their life.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Are there any events or fundraisers that you hold throughout the year that you want to make sure people know about?
I appreciate your asking. With COVID, we did a little bit of a different approach to fundraising. We used to have a lot of events, and there's a lot of energy goes into events.
Right.
And sometimes you're competing with a lot of other events.
Exactly.
So we really worked on having what we call just a community campaign for awareness, and we do that during the year in the spring. Every branch holds local events, but then we also just have social media posts about why we do fundraising for who it helps. Every year during the camp season, we do a Send a Kid to Camp campaign to either help kids keep going to camp that families might come on hard times, or to help make sure we have enough money to send kids the upcoming year. This year, we're still raising funds. We have a lot of folks asking for support.
Sure.
And so that is always need. The giving days that are coming up, New Hampshire Gives, is a really important time to think about considering the Granite Y or any of your favorite charities to give. And then we will be holding some special activities across the association in 2027. So keep your ears posted or eyes out there looking on our website or watch our social medias, and you'll see some things coming up. Every local Y does some type of fundraising that's unique to them. But collectively, we really try to make sure our social media tells our story and ask folks to consider making a contribution to one of those stories that they really feel touches their heart, or maybe to coming in and donating services, or being involved as a volunteer and maybe figuring out another way to give back. If it's not the cash way, personal hours is more meaningful sometimes to what they really do as far as impact goes. But we do appreciate the fundraising too.
Well, it's a necessary part, especially for nonprofits.
Well, it is, and I appreciate your asking. We used to have a gala. There's a desire to get back to that. I think right now for us, it's been really, we've been very fortunate that we've had a lot of generosity come out by folks just wanting to come and give, and then maybe volunteering a couple hours to see what their investment's making.
Sure. Well, we'll make sure that we have all your social media websites so people can follow and find out about these things as they happen.
Thank you for that.
Oh, sure. And is there anything else I may have missed that you want to share about the Granite Y?
I'll share there's a lot I could talk about because we have a lot of wonderful, unique programs. But there's one thing I will share for the community to know is that we do chronic disease management. Childcare is one of the things I spoke to. And yes, we're very involved in childcare, and we're also helping to change policy in the state. But one of the things that I don't think a lot of folks know is that, particularly in our older folks that are on Medicare, is that we are a Medicare provider for diabetes management and prevention. population. And so if you are someone who's been diagnosed with either hypertension with blood pressure, or you are type 1 or pre-diabetic or diabetic, the YMCA offers programs that are available through Medicare reimbursement or through assistance we get from other entities like the CDC to offer programmings. We're the state's preferred community provider for diabetes education and management. And it can be very instrumental into helping folks to assist them with their lifestyle changes to live a better quality of life and to prevent some other comorbidities that happen with these chronic diseases. We offer about 11 different chronic disease management programs, and our director, Cindy LaFawn, has been doing this now for about 10 years. We do a cancer survivorship program called Live Strong. We have a fall prevention program, and we do a program called Tai Chi Guan for better balance. We also have some water exercise classes and some other dry line classes called Enhanced Fitness and Splash for people that are living with arthritis. And we're about to launch something for Parkinson's. So keep an eye. If you're looking and want to know more about these, you can check us out on the website. And we're also about to launch a virtual exercise platform that will be included in our chronic disease management programs for free.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's really important for people to know because it sounds like it's a necessary program, but also lets people to know where to look and go for it. So,
7 out of 10 people are living with or will be diagnosed as pre-diabetic or diabetic in the adult population in New Hampshire. So it's a big problem.
Yeah.
And it's one of those illnesses or diseases or lifestyles that can be supported by changes. And we're here to do that if you're needed.
Yeah. Great to know. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And then I just have 3 final questions that I like to ask everybody. The first is, can you share a story of someone whose life has been transformed by your work?
There's a lot.
I know.
Because I've been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a personal story back from when I was in Pennsylvania. And I would run an early morning boot camp and cycling class. And it was one way for me to get my exercise in before I started my day. But it was another way to also connect with a community of people and to just help support them when the exercise journey is not easy to do on your own. And while I was teaching a class, the Y I worked at in Pennsylvania, there was a group of women that were coming to the class that I had never met before. And I was fairly new to the community. And one of them was a severe asthmatic. The other one was recovering from the loss of a husband from suicide. And the third one was a sister who was there with her sister who had lost her husband, who was also trying to get back into better health. And those 3 women became kind of my 3 musketeer trio. We called them Shepherd's sheep because my last name is Sheppard, so I was constantly herding the sheep to keep them in exercise. But they were looking for that success of health and wellness without having to do it the hardcore way of always, you don't have to run a marathon. You just need to be able to take those next couple steps. But they were so dedicated to each other and supporting each other's endeavors and healing that I don't think I've ever been touched by that sense of belonging and connectivity. And they're still part of my life today. I've watched them go through some pretty traumatic things in their lives at that time when I met them, and we've all aged together and experienced things. But they're still in each other's lives, and they're still in my life, giving support. And they've recruited people into their sphere to get through life's challenges that are sometimes related to mental health, they're sometimes related to illness, and they're sometimes related to just lifestyle. And that we all need someone in our life to make sure that we can stay accountable and stay healthy and take care of ourselves, because it's often something we forget to do in these busy, challenging lives we have, particularly as women. And so I won't call them out by name, it's not likely they'll hear this podcast, but they inspired me. And I'll never forget one day I'm teaching a cycling class, and it was a snowy day, and 2 of the 3, one was on the bike with me, and the other 2 were out, and they had run their first 5-mile run. But they didn't stop. And they were banging on the window while I'm trying to teach cycling. And they kept flashing their 5 fingers going, we did it. So they ran 5 miles, their first ever. And, that's a big, proud moment for a lot of folks, especially if you never thought you were going to run. And I'll just never forget the joy on their face and the pride they had. And they couldn't wait to share that.
That's
It was a gift.
Yeah.
Still is.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm so glad that you're still connected to each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then Just because it helps me learn about other nonprofits to have on the show later and just kind of also shares the love amongst all of you. Can you recommend another nonprofit or just an individual doing great things in their community that I should have on as a future guest?
Well, I'll give you two to choose from.
Okay.
One is an organization known as Unchartered.
Oh, okay.
And her name is Amber Nicole Cannon. And I want to make sure I share this quote specifically. She teaches with art and science. So basically her program is called Tutoring that Teaches Educational Concepts and Life Lessons Using Art.
Oh.
And so she was and is still a medical artist who would do renderings for medical textbooks and things of that sort. But she has worked in under-resourced communities, particularly, and with children that don't always get extracurricular activities, to teach them how to look through a microscope and to draw a cell and see the beauty of a cell, or to look at a plant and to see how to draw the various parts of a plant and understand all the different systems of chlorophyll and everything. And she does this. She just became a nonprofit. And she is now in partnership with quite a few other organizations, including the YMCA, making sure that this is another way of learning. It's another way of mindfulness. And it's another way of skill enrichment for kids to think about a career path in the sciences or in the arts, or combining the two, as Amber Nicole has done. So I would strongly encourage you to learn about her organization. She's doing some pretty cool things with the Sea Science Center in Manchester.
Oh, okay.
And so my other individual would be a gentleman. He would not be happy I'm going to say this, but his name is Craig Burnham. And Craig Burnham is a longtime community leader and business leader. And when he retired after selling his business, he started leaning in on food security and resource scarceness for families, and particularly children of families that have parents working multiple jobs and really trying to kind of make ends meet. And so he started the food pantry at the Manchester YMCA. And to this day, he is out shopping weekly when he's not on a few weeks off golfing in Florida in his retirement years, making sure that special dietary needs are met by the participants that come to our food pantry every week.
Wow.
And he is just a treasure and gives wholeheartedly of his time, his treasure, and his heart. And so I would strongly encourage you to see if he would come say a few words, because he's an inspiration.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I'd love to have them both on, one because of what he's doing, because I think that's, unless you are dealing with a food allergy or dietary restrictions, I think you might not think about the fact that a lot of food pantries probably don't have those options for people. So the fact that he's kind of working on that is amazing.
That, or personal items that people need that they can't afford. I mean, that's a big expense in people's lives.
They are.
So
and sometimes those things aren't seen as necessities when they are.
Truly necessities. Yeah. Yes, absolutely agree with you on that.
And then I love what I forgot her name, the other woman. Amber Nicole is doing, because often I feel like science and art are kind of looked at as opposites or pitted against each other, and the fact that she's putting them together is amazing. So
when you ever take some time to just look at a structure in nature, you realize that there's a lot there that's very, very tied to technology and that is an early technology in our world. And she's teaching children to be able to see with that lens and to explore that without worrying about doing it right. I think we spend too much time thinking about the perfect picture or whatever the case may be, and it's really just exploring and learning. There's different tools to use to learn and to do art. So
definitely.
I hope you enjoy your time with them.
Thank you. And then the last question is, what does kindness mean to you, and can you share an example of kindness that you've experienced or witnessed? And if it's associated with the why, great, but if it's just something else throughout your life, that's fine too.
I thought about this question. So for me, kindness is just it can be the simplest acknowledgement of someone that you don't even know, and just John Prine has a song, "Say Their Name," about folks that are kind of older, particularly, or maybe downtrodden and have had some difficulties, and they're not necessarily living the way that others are able to live. And I think whenever we can look beyond ourselves and see others that are struggling, and we can just acknowledge, simply a smile, it could be giving, but it's really getting to know them and to not dismissing that that might be uncomfortable for me or might be
Right.
uncomfortable for them.
Right.
Oftentimes they want to be noticed.
Sure,
So,
yeah.
I think that is probably one of the more important things we can do is and to yourself is to just take notice of those simple things, because you don't know how they might inspire you for something else or make you aware of something that you might need too.
Right. Yeah.
Kindness for yourself.
Definitely.
And then I'll just share a neighborhood experience. So we have a neighbor who's an older gentleman. He just turned 90, and he doesn't get out to drive anymore. He lives on his own. But this winter, he decided to drive around the trail in our neighborhood in his vehicle, and he got his truck stuck during a snow. Now, he got out safely, and we were all very worried because it was like no one wanted to go, and that would be awful. However, that truck, his family wasn't able to come and help him get his only needs of transportation out, even just to drive around his property, to go out and to see things, because he doesn't walk very well. So our neighbors, a group of men and women, worked together to get that man's truck out, and it took quite a few vehicles because it was really lodged down on some rocks and branches off a trail, so that he would have because he was driving his lawnmower around just to get out, get some fresh air, because he can't walk very well anymore. And they all went together. They spent a couple of hours working hard to try to figure out how to not damage the truck, to get it out and to return it to him so it could get fixed and he could have his vehicle back again. And they didn't have to do that.
No,
it was not anything that was in anybody's way, so to speak, so it had to be gotten out of the way. It was out of everyone's way to make sure that they took care of our neighbor and did something for him that he wasn't able to get done by others.
Yeah.
Or if he had anybody in his life to be able to do that. So I love that they did that, and listening to them chuckle and listening to them tell the story about with all the things they had to try to get that truck out was kind of funny. My husband and I missed that opportunity. He was very upset that he didn't get invited down there to help at the time, but I was kind of like, I think it was probably a good idea. There was enough hands.
Yeah.
But when when you see something like that needs to be done, neighbors don't do much for neighbors anymore. It's kind of, we all live in our houses. We don't live in neighborhoods the way we used to. This was a good example of how the neighbors really live together in a neighborhood where I live. I'm fortunate for that.
Yeah. That's good to hear, because I think it can be easy to get caught up in your life and what's going on in your little circle, and they'll be fine, somebody else will take care of that. And just taking that moment to reach out to people and say, are you okay, do you need help, those sorts of things is so important. And it's been talked about here before, but just you help someone and then they want to help someone, and that effective kind of just effect. Exactly. Yes, that's the good word for
yes,
it. So
is.
yes.
No, it's nice that I think that happens every day in so many ways that we lose sight of because we're just always hearing about other things.
Yeah.
And so it's nice that you do this podcast to be able to put the good out and share it out and to give opportunities for more good to be told. So thank you for that opportunity. We're just proud to be seen as one of those partners, hopefully, and look forward to hearing from some folks to me about some new ways to partner and to give back.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for being here. And hopefully people will check out the Granite YMCA.
I hope so. It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you again to Michele for being my guest and educating us about the Granite YMCA and all that it has to offer. I hope that you will check them out, get involved in one way or another. And as always, follow Dose of Good Podcast on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify and Apple. Leave a review where you listen to podcasts and help someone out in your community. Share some kindness and add to that ripple effect. And until next time, I hope you have a great day.